So I want to go right away to our chief Washington correspondent, John Carl. John, we are just 100 days out from the November election. Pressure was building on the president to step aside. Now he is announcing that he has.
Rachel, it's an extraordinary moment in American history. This is the first time we have seen a sitting president bow out of re-election since Lyndon Baines Johnson in 1968. And it comes, unlike Johnson's move, which happened in January of that year, it comes after he has already gone through a primary process, after he has already effectively won the Democratic nomination, which now raises the huge questions, as you allude to, of what happens next. In his letter announcing this extraordinary decision, he mentions his vice president, Kamala Harris. He says, I want to thank my vice president, Kamala Harris, for being an extraordinary partner. But he makes no reference about what he will do in terms of an endorsement. Will he endorse? Will he not endorse? Will there be an open process? What happens next? He says he will talk to the nation in the coming days more about his decision. But now the Democrats have to figure out what happens. Who replaces Joe Biden as the Democratic candidate for president?
And John, you've been reporting on this for weeks now. And just a few days ago, we were live at the Republican National Convention. You broke the news about the growing pressure on President Biden to step aside, even as high as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. You had top Democrats that really insisted that it was time for the president to go. What was behind this growing pressure, and how was the president receiving these calls?
And Rachel, this morning we reported that a large group of Democratic elected officials who have not yet come out publicly calling on Biden to step out were preparing to go public with their feeling that he needs to step out, get out of the race. This included, I am told, a significant group of U.S. senators who were making the case to Biden, making it through Schumer, in some cases making it directly, that if Biden stayed in the race, not only would he lose to Donald Trump, but he would hurt Senate candidates in competitive races. These senators did not want to publicly pressure Biden. They wanted him to make the decision for himself. But if he didn't make this decision soon, they were prepared to go public with their calls. So this is, at the root of all of this, is a concern that Biden had become so damaged following that debate some 3 weeks ago that he was going to lose to Donald Trump, which for Democrats is an extraordinary, would be an extraordinary failure. But more than that, that Republicans would win up and down the ballot. So you would have Donald Trump winning and potentially Republicans winning back the Senate and expanding their majority in the House. That's why you saw so much pressure. But the pressure was extraordinary. It was the Democratic leader in the House, Hakeem Jeffries. It was the Democratic leader in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, and it was perhaps the conscience of the party, maybe the most influential member of Congress who's not in leadership, Nancy Pelosi, all making the case privately, directly to Biden, that this was the only viable decision for him to make.